Welcome to Movie Story, where we bring your favorite films to life with thrilling recaps and deep dives.
At the beginning of the film, we see Sister Mary praying late at night. After her prayer, she sneaks into Mother Superior's room and steals a set of keys. It's clear that Sister Mary is trying to escape from whatever Catholic convent she is in. She quickly uses the keys to open the main door, but suddenly we see some hooded figures behind her. Sister Mary hurriedly opens the door a little and tries to escape, but one of the hooded figures grabs her foot and twists it, breaking it. This causes Sister Mary to faint, and when she regains consciousness, she finds herself buried in a coffin with no one coming to help her. It's safe to assume that Sister Mary must have died in that coffin. From here, the scene focuses on a young Sister Cecilia, who has come to join a convent in Italy with a one-way ticket from the US. She got this ticket from the father of the convent. She didn't take it herself. We understand that Father Sal Tadashi had invited Cecilia here. Cecilia was very eager to join this convent. Why? Because the place where she used to work as a sister in the US had closed. When Cecilia enters through the main door of the convent, we as viewers can clearly understand that this is the same convent we saw in the first scene of the movie. Cecilia meets Mother Superior, who welcomes her, and Sister Isabel shows Cecilia to her room. Sister Isabel is a bit rude to Cecilia. In fact, she even says that Cecilia still has time, meaning she can go back before taking her vows this evening, and God will forgive her. But, she warns, Cecilia won't be able to go back after taking her vows. We can see that Sister Cecilia is very dedicated. Even after knowing that her main task would be to care for elderly sisters who are about to pass away, she still wants to stay. Later in the story, Cecilia meets Sister Gwen, and their vibes match, which makes them good friends. That evening, Cecilia goes to the chapel to take her vows, where she finally meets Father Tressi. Father Tressi is very friendly and helps Cecilia during her vows. At dinner, there is a conversation between Father Tressi and Cecilia, where we learn more about them. Father Tressi's first career was in science, specifically biology, but over time he devoted himself to the convent and became a priest. Meanwhile, Cecilia shares that when she was 12 years old, she fell into a frozen lake in Saguna. By the time she was pulled out, her heart had stopped, and doctors even declared her dead. But after 7 minutes, Cecilia suddenly came back to life. Since then, she has felt that God saved her for a purpose, and to fulfill that purpose, she chose the path of becoming a nun. In the next scene, we see Cecilia in the chapel, where she notices a hooded figure lying on the ground. This figure is wearing something like a red skin mask. Suddenly, Mother Superior appears and gives Cecilia a holy nail relic, supposedly the same sharp object with which Jesus was impaled on the cross. As soon as Cecilia takes the relic in her hand, she becomes unconscious. When she regains consciousness, she finds herself in a confessional box. Here, Cecilia feels as though hands are grabbing her, and she becomes trapped in a red room where the same hooded figures stab her. But then, Cecilia wakes up from her sleep, depicting that all of this was probably a nightmare, or maybe it wasn't. In the next few scenes, Cecilia learns the hard ways of convent life. One night, while she is sleeping, an old nun cuts Cecilia's hair. This wakes her up, and she takes the old nun back to her bed. It seems that one of Cecilia's duties is to care for these elderly nuns. Here, Cecilia notices a cross-shaped scar on one of the old nun's feet. The next day, while talking to Gwen during a bath, Cecilia suddenly vomits. Concerned, she undergoes a checkup by the in-house doctor, Gallo. Shortly after, Mother Superior calls Cecilia to a room. This room is home to Father Teschi, Mother Superior, Cardinal Marola, and other senior members of the convent, all of whom are in a very serious condition. The shocking revelation is that Cecilia is pregnant, a physical impossibility since she is a virgin and has never been involved with anyone. Everyone considers Cecilia's pregnancy a miracle, and within the convent she is treated as if she were the Virgin Mary. They believe the child in her womb is a blessing and will be the next messenger of God. Although everyone is overjoyed, Cecilia doesn't understand how or why this miracle happened to her. In fact, while vomiting once, one of Cecilia's teeth falls out, which is both alarming and strange. Not everyone is happy about Cecilia's rising popularity, especially Sister Isabel. One day, Isabel tries to drown Cecilia, claiming, "This should have happened to me." Isabel nearly kills Cecilia, but other nuns arrive just in time to save her. Miraculously, the child in Cecilia's womb remains unharmed. After this incident, Cecilia demands to be taken to a real hospital. However, Father Teskey insists that the convent is the safest place for her and promises that such a mishap will never happen again. Soon after, Sister Isabel jumps off the roof of the convent and kills herself. While the official word is that she was mentally unstable, by now, we as viewers understand that something is definitely wrong in the convent. Even Cecilia begins to sense that something is amiss. In fact, Gwen grows more suspicious than Cecilia. One day, Gwen openly shouts that the superiors are hiding something and accuses them of suppressing the truth. Because of her outburst, Father Teskey and Deacon Enzo take Gwen away. That night, Cecilia discovers a painting of Mother Mary hanging in her room. On the back of the painting, she finds something written, a Bible reference, 2 Corinthians 11:14. When Cecilia checks that passage in the Bible, it reads, "Sometimes the devil disguises himself as an angel." This clearly serves as a warning. Spurred by this discovery, Cecilia begins investigating the convent. In a drawer, she finds a file containing records of the incident from her past, meaning the father and the convent superiors already knew about her history. As Cecilia continues her search, she hears a mysterious voice. Following the voice, she reaches a room and finds Gwen locked inside. There were some hooded people here who cut off Gwen's tongue. Yes, friends, seeing this, Cecilia was in shock. Then, the same old nun who had cut Cecilia's hair appears. This old nun gives her a cross made from Cecilia's hair. Cecilia tells her, "We should run away from here." Upon hearing this, the old nun becomes very serious, saying that Cecilia will never be able to escape from here. The next day, we see that Cecilia is bleeding heavily, as if she had a miscarriage. Meanwhile, Father Teskey and Deacon Enzo take Cecilia to the hospital in a car. After they leave, a nun notices a chicken feather under Cecilia's bed. This reveals that Cecilia was pretending to bleed to escape from the convent. She had actually killed a chicken and smeared its blood everywhere to make it look like a miscarriage. The nun immediately calls Father Teskey and informs him of this deception. Upon receiving the call, Father Teskey stops the car. Seeing Father's expression, Cecilia realizes that her lie has been caught. In a desperate attempt to escape, Cecilia tries to run from the car, but Father Teskey and Deacon Enzo catch her and take her back to the convent. At the convent, Cecilia is tied to a chair, and at this point, Father Teskey reveals everything that is happening inside the convent. In reality, before coming to the convent, Father Teskey was a genetics expert. He found Jesus' blood samples and bones on the Holy Nail relic. In short, he discovered a genetic code, which he used to try and bring a new Messiah into the world. Of course, he could not get permission to conduct such experiments elsewhere, so he joined the convent, where he has been impregnating the sisters with this genetic code for the past 20 years, hoping that one day the child born would be the new Messiah. He had conducted this experiment on many sisters, but each time the fetus either became deformed or did not survive. However, this time, the baby in Cecilia's womb was healthy, and Father Teskey believed this baby would be the Messiah. It turns out that when Cecilia was unconscious, the hooded people had actually impregnated her with this genetic code. After revealing this horrifying truth, Father Teskey burns a cross-shaped scar onto Cecilia's leg, signifying that this has happened to many other nuns as well. This explains why Cecilia previously saw a similar cross-shaped scar on an old nun's leg. After this, Cecilia is kept as a prisoner. The scene shifts to Dr. Gallo's in-house clinic, where Mother Superior is also present. Once the doctor leaves, Cecilia seizes the opportunity. She attacks Mother Superior with a cross and kills her. Cecilia then attempts to escape, but her water breaks. Despite her pain, Cecilia manages to choke Cardinal Merola with her rosary and kills him. Determined to end everything, she goes to Father Teskey's lab, pours ethanol all over, and tries to set it on fire. Suddenly, Father Teskey arrives and tries to manipulate her. When manipulation fails, he physically attacks Cecilia. In the chaos, Cecilia locks Father Teskey inside the lab and successfully sets it on fire. Cecilia then enters the convent's catacombs, a forbidden place for any nun. There, she discovers Gwen's lifeless body, confirming that the nuns who were killed in the convent were buried or hidden there. It becomes clear that the convent superiors have been killing these nuns to cover up their twisted experiments, just as they did with Isabel and Gwen. As Cecilia tries to escape from the catacombs, the severely burned Father Teskey emerges, having somehow survived the fire. Another brutal fight breaks out, during which Father Teskey tries to cut open Cecilia's stomach to extract the child. In a desperate move, Cecilia stabs Father Teskey's neck with the Holy Nail relic, killing him once and for all. Now, you might be wondering, how did Cecilia get the Holy Nail relic? Well, during her frantic escape, she picked it up from the chapel. Finally, Cecilia manages to escape from the catacombs and the convent itself. Alone and in agony, she is forced to deliver her child. It is a brutal and harrowing moment. Although we do not see the child's appearance, we can hear its voice, and it does not sound human. Instead, the child's cries resemble the sound of an animal, leaving Cecilia in shock. In her horror and confusion, Cecilia picks up a nearby stone and throws it at the child.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Movie Story for more amazing movie recaps. Let us know in the comments which movie you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.